Yes, I am naked, and last night I was naked. I don't know what's going on with Brittany because yeah, she's posting weird things like normal. That is normal for her now. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what she's doing, but I know she needs attention, and I just can't bother to put on any clothes right now, and I'm messing up all my words. But yeah, I had an interesting thought because um, this is just a fantasy, but um, yeah, because it might start. Um, the UK Big Brother might start on Feast of Trumpets. That is actually like the wedding feast. So it would be interesting if I had um, uh, and I just talking. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but yeah, it could happen where I just like get married in the UK one before I start saying that I'm Christ. Um, I mean, technically, if married, there's a film. What's it? Married at First Sight is on at the same time as UK, so that would be kind of. They've never had a Big Brother opening with a sort of temporary marriage right on the beginning at the very first day, and the Marriage at First Sight is kind of on, and that would be kind of an interesting twist actually. An interesting twist to a Big Brother show would be just to like get married on the first day, but it would kind of be seen as like a temporary marriage. Um, but yeah, I don't know. That's just it. It might not happen. There's loads of ideas that can happen, and I know that it shouldn't be my decision. Do you know why I'd say it shouldn't be my decision? It's because I believe that I've done this loads of times. And well, if I've done this loads of times and it's always my decision, then I'm like spaghetti bolognese. You know, if I could choose which food to eat, I'd always just go for the same thing. And so if it was always my decision, I'd always just go for the same thing. But maybe I've been inspired by something that's different. You know, I feel like this timeline is so much harder than all the others, and I feel like actually I know why it's harder than all the others because I feel like I am so old that I'm losing the point of living. Losing. You live for kids. You have kids. You have a planet. You have a timeline, and suddenly you have a reason to live. You know, on their perspective, they might just see you as just being someone who just wants to have fun or just you know if you can't achieve any higher than you've already achieved, then it's just like, well, I'm just going to start having fun now, and you just have to accept that that's just all you can do. But yeah, I feel like though I like doing things that other people can't do, and this timeline there's loads and loads of souls here, and it's very bad, and I'm not saying that. I'm saying it's going to be fixed. The fact that I'm here is going to be fixed. At some point in the timeline, the world is going to be a nice place. I don't know how long it will take to get there, but I know it will get there. And considering how many souls it's taken for me to get to this point, probably shows just how complicated this was. But yeah, I feel like if there's loads of planets that have souls on it, and there's loads of gods that can do it, I think a lot of gods wouldn't be able to handle this place. And so having such a hard timeline um, does actually make me feel appreciated because I feel like there's so many gods that would have just been like, yeah, that's too difficult for me. I can't, you know, it's like a jigsaw puzzle. It is like a jigsaw puzzle. I think doing a timeline is similar to a jigsaw puzzle. You know, if you have a planet that's like got 2 million souls or something, it'd be like doing like a small jigsaw puzzle. And if you've got a planet that's got billions of souls, that'd be like doing a billion puzzle jigsaw piece. And most gods wouldn't be able to like handle that. Like I know it's not them doing all the work, but at the same time you still need to figure out a way of convincing people that you're Christ or God, and also cope with the pull of the spirit that you release to try and influence people. But yeah, doing a hard timeline like this one, I feel like there's a lot of gods that wouldn't do it. Hence, it gives me a reason to live. Like, for if I'm gonna, I don't know how much. I feel like gods can die if they want to die. But yeah, you don't want to die if you feel like you can do things that other people can't. And so if you're a god that can work on a huge complex timeline, then you feel like you're needed in the sort of cosmos because you can do things that a lot of the younger gods can't do. And I can imagine a lot of people, a lot of gods doing a timeline, you know, going back and forth, having fun, and then after doing that, just feeling like, well, I've achieved what I wanted to achieve, hence not going that extra bit further, because they've done it all, and they just, you lose the will to live when you feel you've done it all. You know, if you feel you've reached the top and there's absolutely no way you can go any higher, then it can be it can just be really depressing, and then you could just end up feeling suicidal. And I think if a god starts feeling like that, then they just die. But yeah, um, it's interesting how the galaxy, in some pictures, I've seen some pictures that the galaxies, or all the galaxies together, can kind of look like um, the universe. Or is there a bigger word for the universe? Um, yeah, it looks like a brain in a way, and I feel like it is. We're just this galaxy is the sun to the Pluto. That's, this is just one, and I'm looking after this one. And but yeah, this is a very hard one to look after because of the number of souls that gathered up in it. But I feel like there's a lot of gods that couldn't do this. Hence, doing something that's so as complex as this kind of gives me more reason to live and to stay longer. So it's just like you get the good and the bad. On the one hand, I feel like this is way too complicated. I just want to give up. But on the other hand, I also feel like it's actually giving me more reason to live, because wow, this is something that not many gods can do. And I know when I go shopping, I always try and I go straight to the reduced sale and just kind of buy the cheapest thing, buy the cheapest foods that I can have. And I feel like that's my way of knowing that that's what the universe wants me to have, because oh look, it's so cheap, a 20p pack of ham that's sold. It's easy. And I feel like when it comes to gods and choosing planets, the easier ones are going to be the ones that are higher demand, because there's more souls that are getting bigger, and they can, there's going to be more competition for it. Whereas when you've got a planet that's been, I think, abandoned for a very long time, um, you know getting people that, or getting souls that want that soul, or would, I don't think anyone would argue over this one, because I feel like something just really went wrong here or something. Um but yeah, the good on that is like, well, no one else could have done it, and it's just like, if all the jigsaw puzzles need to be completed at some point, and you can do a jigsaw puzzle but no one else can, then it gives you a little bit more incentive to live, even though you actually feel suicidal throughout the whole time you do the jigsaw puzzle, or at least when you're on Earth and stuff. But yeah, but yeah, I don't know what will happen, but it would be interesting. It would be an interesting. Why do I fantasize about marriage? I don't know. I don't, because I don't even like marriage. I hate marriage, and yet for some reason I like the idea of it. Or I don't know. I think it is as an attention need, is a need for attention, and I feel like if you've got some sort of marriage, and it's kind of like a commitment, even though even though it might just be silly. If you marry a TV show, it's probably a very silly thing, but um, anyway.